Welcome to New World of Entertainment in Zambia. Cartoons, music, news, movies, drama, series, documentaries, food, travel, the best from Hollywood and Bollywood. International football, including CAF competitions, La Liga, Serie A, German Bundesliga, Saudi League, Carabao Cup, Asian Championship, Barclays Women's League, local leagues, and much more. Grab your Azam TV decoder at 350 Zambian Kwacha and full kit at 589 Zambian Kwacha. Affordable monthly packages: 100 Zambian Kwacha, 200 Zambian Kwacha, and 300 Zambian Kwacha. For more details, contact us on 971-246-222, 763-664-455. WhatsApp 77-500-0013. Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Not long ago, many children in Zambia did not go to school because their parents could not afford it. Today, 2.5 million children are back in the classroom, sitting on desks and being fed nutritious meals under the school feeding program. Markets are now peaceful with no cadre violence. Clinics stand where there were none. There's still much work ahead, jobs to create, futures to secure. And that's why Bali keeps working day after day. Because just as we delivered free education, we will keep delivering. For every child still waiting and every family still rising. Until progress is something every Zambian feels. We've started the change. Now let's finish the job. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let us continue to move Zambia forward together.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
But one, of course, behind me is the Kazungula bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar, Channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 719477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
Zambia heads to the 2026 general election, a defining moment for the nation's democracy. Who will win the presidential poll and what choice will shape Zambia's future? Follow the latest campaign updates, election stories, and breaking development. Tune in to PTV2 Zambia, the home of breaking news 24/7. From the heart of Africa to the world, we bring you the stories, voices, and development shaping the continent. Stay informed with the in-depth reports, current affairs, politics, business, culture, and major headlines across Africa. Africa in Perspective News every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 15:30 hours, only on PTV2 Zambia, the home of breaking news 24/7.
It is a lovely and beautiful good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this very beautiful Monday edition of the Sunrise Breakfast Show. We're definitely excited to be back once again. I hope that your weekend was very restful and very productive. I do know that obviously there were so many activities over the weekend, but the Sunrise Breakfast Show is here to, just give you a sneak peek of what was happening over the weekend and, of course, what is trending on social media. what is making headlines in our news, and so much more. So definitely, you should be expecting a very, very jam-packed Monday on Prime TV2. And of course, just talking about, what's been trending, especially in the news, we do have quite a number of topics that we'll be discussing, things that are affecting you and I this morning, especially around the country. And I'm not alone in the studio. Of course, my name is Rhoda Mulenga. I am, with my very beautiful co-host here, Kathy Bwalia. And good morning to you, Kathy.
Good morning, Rhoda. It's so good to see you.
Yeah,
last
good
week,
to see you too.
Kizito kept calling me Rhoda, so I
Yeah?
was really anxious
Oh,
to
really?
see you. Yeah, so it's really good to be here with you today.
But how are you doing, and how's been your weekend?
I'm doing great. And today I feel better. I was telling Kizito how heavy my mornings are, but I'm getting used to it, and to getting used to waking up very early in the morning. And so I feel really good. My weekend was fun. I attended an arts and design show. And it was interesting to see, how much people are doing. Because, a lot of people haven't been interested in art. But at this show, there were a lot of Zambian artists that were there exhibiting, and to see all that they are doing was really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Kizito should be joining us later on as we go on with our program. Obviously, the Monday blues are kicking in, but he should be with us very soon on set. And to our lovely viewers across, the country, you're catching us live. That is on Topstar channel 110. And of course, we're also live on our Facebook page. So you can come through with your comments and your contributions as we, just interact and talk about some of these issues affecting you and I today.
Yes, Rhoda, and as we draw closer to the elections, it is heated out there. Everybody's talking about it in schools, in markets, wherever you go, because people want to know who is gaining momentum. They want to know what's going on, what are the campaign promises. But also, we know that this year's or this time's elections seem to be marred by some sort of, what can I say? A lot of confusion, and we are seeing a lot of violence going around. So we are hoping for the best, and today on the show we'll talk about some of those things.
Absolutely. And, political violence is something that we shouldn't even be expecting, in this year's election. But it's a different case as we're seeing, things unfold. And sadly, it is what we'll be, highlighting today on our program. And we've got some interesting guests who will be coming through in the studio just to give us a highlight of, what to expect, and of course what other stakeholders are saying about this political violence. It seems somebody is already on set. Good morning.
Good morning, Rhoda. How are you? And
good, thank you.
Yeah, condolences once again.
Thank you so much.
And welcome back.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kathy. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
It's safe to call it a triple threat.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Triple threat. So people should be expecting a lot on today's show, and of course going forward as well. But also one question that I need to ask you, my colleagues, this morning: what is on your mind? I know the weekend has been very jam-packed. It's been quite long. But what are you waking up to this morning, especially in regards to what's been happening around the country?
Well, they say ladies first. Let's hear Kathy go.
Okay, so I'm waiting to see how the funeral of the late chief goes tomorrow. I know that the morning has been very peaceful.
Yeah.
A lot of cousinship going around, painting of people, and all. So tomorrow, I hope to see what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a conversation that must hit the ground. We indeed, all roads will lead to Eastern Province, and I'm glad Chitimkulu has instructed the Bemba clan to ensure that they do their best. But perhaps what is on my mind today is a Mazabuka fiesta where we saw, one wanting to go on campaign on the ground and tell the voters their message. And unfortunately, we reports are that this did not take place there was resistance, police moved in, and I think those are the conversations that are in my mind right now. I think Kathy alluded to the fact that already we see a country that is anti-democracy in a way. Intolerance is building everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's basically what is on my mind, and I hope that we probably can do better as a country. Yeah.
And obviously, I know, Kathy, that you did attend a very, very interesting event over the weekend. Maybe tell us more about that.
Okay, so this is an event that is organized by the Zambian Arts and Design. I don't know, I think it's a committee or sort of an organization. And so they have these art and design shows every year. And so the one that I attended was like a smaller one that they have started as compared to the main one that they've been doing, which will be held in November. So it was just about giving Zambian artists a platform to showcase what they hand make. I talked to Nancy Malambo, who was telling me that all that was being displayed were things that people make by hand. So it was interesting to see, what people have been making in terms of skincare, food and other products. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. I think we're able to see some clips over there of what you did experience over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I think it is indeed a very, very interesting initiative. But also, moving forward, what's on my mind, I saw a very interesting clip early this morning, a very social kind of conversation. I think you guys remember Pastor, I don't know if it's Pastor Kapwinga, the man that went to this tree and was trying to remove some charms and was bitten by a snake, allegedly. So now it seems when they were calling for other pastors to actually come to his aid and pray for him, nobody came to his aid. So apparently it is alleged that he's been healed by a witch doctor.
No, I have to see
So
that.
that is a pastor who's been, healed by a witch doctor.
Really?
I don't know how people feel about that, though.
First and foremost, Rhoda, such conversations require that we have investigative packages to go on the ground and unpack things. We did hear that indeed the man said, Nasumwa or whatever the case, and people are making fun of that. But there's one conversation I was expecting, or an update from the hospitals, because this person was taken to the hospital.
Exactly.
And the hospital must tell us whether this guy was bitten by a snake or otherwise. That way we know that we are dealing with a snake bite, what type of snake, or otherwise it may just be another habitat or animal that lives in that particular tree, because it's cold, and you expect insects and the other things to domicile in some of these places. So to allege that this person was healed by a witch doctor and they appealed may be far-fetched. But I also keep seeing stories that is getting worse, and the hand is kind of changing. But we wanted to get reports from the hospitals. And I think as a media we're not doing justice. Such stories require follow-up. So I want to treat it as yellow journalism, that we've not done our best.
I do agree with you.
Yes, to get what is really happening. Medical records, one could say, okay, tell us what's the hospital saying, where was it taken, what treatment was it given.
Yeah.
It could just be a snake really, and nothing spiritual, But if it is spiritual, then I think that we need to see pastors with ethics. If you're going to go in a place where you've not been before, and you see that this doesn't look very good, even when you're just picking mushroom, we would normally be advised to say, hey, check in case there's something. So Rhoda, I not to dismiss what you said, but witchcraft is also real. There are people who practice witchcraft. We've seen it. And if he was helped by a witch, then he himself is a witch, because for him to go to a witch,
So yesterday I actually saw a clip where there was this witch doctor who had gone to the scene with some people, and there was some sort of commotion. It's like he was chasing something nobody could see. And then afterwards, he went over to that same tree and he was trying to grab something. And he actually grabbed something and pulled out a snake with some, you know, it wasn't very clear. They didn't quite show what it was. And then they took it to, I don't know if that was the chief or headman, and they were showing it off to the people to say, we've caught this thing. So it's amazing because, like Kizito is saying, no one has really taken interest to go and investigate what this is, except to just share the rumors and whatever assumptions people are making around it. So can somebody go over there, especially those that are in that area? Because I don't even know that area.
I mean, from a page, it could be for show, for numbers.
You know what I mean. True.
Yeah.
But absolutely, those are some of the stories that are trending on social media. It's always very funny in Zambia that we always wake up to something very dramatic, some comedy of some sort. And it has really, gotten people's attention because it has a lot of comments and reactions to that. But moving on, whether you be driving to your various workplaces, running some school errands, or just opening up your shop this morning, definitely this is the place to be, because we'll be having some interesting conversations as we go on. But let's have a look at something that, affects us all, especially this morning, and that is our weather update. Right, so that is what our weather looks like this morning. It looks like it's going to be getting cold by the hour, but that is the reason why we give you the weather update, because you need to be prepared as you kickstart your day. All right, so now let's have a look at some of the stories that are trending, especially in our news this morning. Quite some interesting stories. And just before we get into that, let's remind you that we'll be having some interesting conversations right here on the Sunrise Breakfast Show. We'll be joined by human rights activist and governance expert, who is Mr. Dennis Mutumba, for an in-depth discussion on the growing concern surrounding political violence as campaigns intensify ahead of the August general elections. Of course, he will be analyzing the implications of some opposition political parties failing to field candidates in certain constituencies. But before we get into those conversations, let's now get into our money markets and see how the kwacha is performing against other currencies.
And those are the economic indicators for this morning. But beyond the numbers and exchange, the rates lies a bigger question. How are these economic realities affecting ordinary citizens? How are businesses adapting? How are households managing? And what do these figures really mean for your pocket? That is why here on Sunrise Breakfast Show, we do more than report the news. We unpack it, we question it, we provide context. But before we get to the stories making headlines, let us take a short break.
Welcome to New World of Entertainment in Zambia. Cartoons, music, news, movies, drama, series, documentaries, food, travel, the best from Hollywood and Bollywood, international football, including CAF competitions, La Liga, Serie A, German Bundesliga, Saudi League, Carabao Cup, Asian Championship, Barclays Women's League, local leagues, and much more. Grab your Azam TV decoder at 350 Zambian kwacha and full kit at 589 Zambian kwacha. Affordable monthly packages: 100 Zambian kwacha, 200 Zambian kwacha, and 300 Zambian kwacha. For more details, contact us on 971-246-222, 763-664-455. WhatsApp 77-500-0013. Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Not long ago, many children in Zambia did not go to school because their parents could not afford it. Today, 2.5 million children are back in the classroom, sitting on desks and being fed nutritious meals under the school feeding program. Markets are now peaceful with no kind of violence. Clinics stand where there were none. There's still much work ahead, jobs to create, futures to secure. And that's why Bali keeps working day after day. Because just as we delivered free education, we will keep delivering. For every child still waiting and every family still rising. Until progress is something every Zambian feels. We've started the change. Now let's finish the job. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let us continue to move Zambia forward together.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazungula bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar, channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
Welcome back to the Sunrise Breakfast Show. Thank you for staying with us. And now we take a look at the stories making headlines today. Police in Mazabuka district of Southern Province have disrupted an independent parliamentary candidate, Garry Nkombo's rally that was scheduled to take place in Ndeke grounds in Zambia compound. In the incident, led police officers to block him from officially launching his campaign as an independent candidate and dispersed his supporters using tear gas. Speaking when he addressed the media at his residence, independent candidate Mr. Nkombo expressed his disappointment with the situation, describing it as undemocratic. John Sikawe has more in the following report.
With only 67 days remaining until the polls, the political atmosphere in Mazabuka district of Southern Province has been marred by police intervention in a campaign rally for independent parliamentary candidate Garry Nkombo. The incident took place at Ndeke Ground in Zambia compound, where Nkombo's supporters had gathered to witness the official launch of his campaign. However, their excitement quickly turned to disappointment as police officers disrupted the rally using tear gas to disperse the crowd.
Garry Nkombo tulabanda ali mutu yakubavotera amulange igulira kwa bantu
ndikuyandeza kuli bagali kulira lingira chisi kuti ndunke nkagugwa higwe bapolisi banduma yana mbutu takala bobo
jitira sono yabagapokola kututira matiagas kuyabutuchirira we will not stop.
In a statement to the media at his residence, Garry Nkombo expressed his disappointment with the situation, calling it undemocratic.
Just at the police station, which is under 500 meters away from my house, they started blowing tear gas, which was unnecessary. And they blew tear gas right up to this place. And I have in my pocket a tear gas canister here, which was thrown in this house. This is my home, my residence. And there are 4 or 5 other tear gas canisters that were thrown in the yard.
He revealed that the designated town wards for his fellow independent candidate, Preson Hajintu, were supposed to be used for his rally as per an agreement between the two candidates. This was further confirmed by a letter that was approved by the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
To our surprise, what happened today is that all roads leading to the outside wards were blocked by the police, starting from Goto, Naganega, Lubombo, Nakambala ward. Discouraged because we are exercising our democratic right to participate in building this society.
Nkombo, who had obtained a permit from the police to hold the rally, was shocked when he was ordered to stop by Mazabuka District Police Deputy Commanding Officer Stable Gisonga. Gisonga stated that allowing the rally to continue would disrupt peace and cause confusion in the district. Having recently resigned from the ruling United Party for National Development due to a disagreement, Nkombo is now running as an independent candidate. Nshikabe Prime TV News in Mazabuka District, Southern Province.
Very, very sad development indeed. But moving on, independent aspiring candidate for Senanga North parliamentary seat, Sitibekiso Wamuyuwa, has withdrawn from the race. Mr. Wamuyuwa says although he received an adoption certificate from UPND that resulted in confusions, he has opted to step down in order to campaign for President Hakainde Hichilema and the party's adopted candidates. He says the move is aimed at securing strong votes for the president so he can continue delivering good governance. Mr. Wamuyuwa has also appealed to other independent aspirants to withdraw and show loyalty to the party. More details in this report.
As the election draws near, the political atmosphere in the country is intensifying with various activities taking place. In Senanga District, Western Province, Sitibekiso Wamuyuwa, who was initially adopted by the UPND to run for the Senanga North parliamentary seat, but later had his adoption revoked by the party and went ahead to file his nomination as an independent candidate, has decided to withdraw from the race. Wamuyuwa mentioned good governance policies such as free education as the reasons for his withdrawal, opting instead to focus on campaigning for the party's adopted candidates and President Hakainde Hichilema.
Anyone can give you a piece of advice, here and there, but finally it is your decision that matters. It's your wisdom that now comes to play. And that's why I'm appealing to everyone, my colleagues. It's not too late to do it. It's not too late. You may feel betrayed, but get over it. If there's any person who should really feel betrayed, it's me. Because at least I even had an adoption certificate. You have to look at what the way forward. Do not focus on what cannot be done. But we need to do much more than singing. Let's go out there. Let's go out. Let us have a plan. How are we going to spend it tomorrow? What about the day next? That's why he's appealing to everybody. The candidates that are out there to come back and be part of the strategic plan.
During a visit by UPND senior party official Hichilema, Wamuyuwa officially announced his decision, expressing difficulty in leaving the party he had been part of since 2003 due to internal issues.
I can resign, but I don't want. Yes. I said I can, like everybody else can. But I'm not going to do it because I don't want. My motto, Mundia, I believe it is yours too, that if I join a club, there's no problem that is going to make me leave. There's no problem, there's no frustration, there's no betrayal, there's nothing that is going to make me leave because I love that club, I love that party.
In the meantime, Mr. Mundia is encouraging adopted UPND parliamentary candidates to return to their constituencies and begin campaigning for the party.
Those monies, those material that you are looking for in Lusaka, they won't campaign for you without the structures. They won't make you win any election without the structures. Can we draw back to the structures of the UPND? I'm talking to those adopted under UPND. Can we come back to the structures? To those who offended the structures, come back and apologize to the structures.
After their visit to Senanga, Mundia and his team proceeded to Sioma district, delivering the message of unity and teamwork to party structures. For Prime TV News in Western Province, Marcus Bransak-Peter reporting.
We continue with more news making headlines, and Jackson Monsa reports that senior UPND members in Northwestern Province have resigned from the ruling party, citing alleged mismanagement, lack of trust, dissatisfaction with the adoption process that ended in 2026 elections. Former Provincial Secretary and National Secretary Thompson Kasonso has accused the party of poor leadership and controversial adoption processes. Well, former Kiwanzi Ward Councillor Moses Kokele condemned the alleged violence against independent parties. Another former member, Olix Kakwata, has said he was disappointed with the adoptions. I beg your pardon. He was disappointed with how the adoptions were handled and claimed promises made to him since 2021 have not been fulfilled. We have more in the following report.
We have seen thuggerism, whereby during nomination day, we as independent candidates were badly treated by the cadres of the UPND, who were instructed by the UPND candidates, to an extent of guns being confiscated by the police, which we need to congratulate the Minister of Home Affairs and the police in general for such bold decision, because it's not really a good indication. I think such behaviors, that is an indication of a party that is falling. And it is an indication of why Zambians should not put their trust, especially with the Northwestern. Why should we kill ourselves for when a party does not mean well to our province? That if they continue with that brutality, it's up to the people. It's up to the people. So far, guns are flying into Karumbira. As we are speaking, there are reports of a 16-year-old boy being shot dead.
There are a lot of issues that have led to my resignation, but I think the critical one, is the way the adoption processes were handled. If you remember, I again contested the same seat. By then it was always West constituency in 2021. I was dribbled the same way I've been dribbled this time around. And I was paraded, I was promised all the promises somebody can hear. But I stayed from 2021, a loyal member of the party up to now.
I feel that there's bad management, human management in our party when it comes to dealing with issues. And I feel that we need to move according to the will of the people. I want to make it straight to the people of Solwezi. Being an independent candidate doesn't mean that you're not going to work with the government. Parliament is for everyone. Parliament is for opposition leaders, is for opposition members of parliament, and also independent members of parliament. They are all equal when they are in that house. So people should not feel intimidated that when one has gone as independent, then no, government will not pay attention to him. Actually, it is an advantage to us because we need a voice that will stand for the people of this province. We need a voice that will stand for the people of Solwezi. We have seen a lot of promises that have happened in the past 5 years, and nothing is coming.
Right, thank you so much for staying glued to our Sunrise Breakfast Show. Just a reminder, in case you are just tuning in, this is the Sunrise Breakfast Show that comes your way every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, that is on Topstar Channel 110. Also, Azam TV decoder, that is Channel 493. We're also live on our Facebook page, that is PTV2 Zambia. So feel free to come through with your comments and your contributions in the comment section. And also don't forget to tell us where you are watching us from, because we want to know. Now, let's turn our heads to what is making headlines in the newspapers. We've got some very, very interesting headlines, colleagues, this morning. We'll start with Daily Revelation. And we've got a headline here that says, I declared 58 million kwacha assets to ECZ Calabar. I challenge HH, others to follow suit. We need to restore integrity to public office. I think that is the only headline that I see here.
Yeah, well, Rhoda, everything has got, you know, they say play by the rules. And we've had conversations in the past where people have been taught to declare. I'm just not sure whether it's a law in Zambia to declare your assets before you take leadership, but maybe it is just a sense of responsibility so that people can track and follow you, you know, if you get rich over there. Because, you know, if Mr. Calabar is saying that that's the amount he has, and in 5 years we find that he has billions of money, then people can come and question and say, look, what really happened? So indeed, you know, it may be important to declare, but it's not a rule. So whether that is the case, we are not very sure, you know, whether people should really all the people should declare. You know, in the past we had Michael Sata declare that he had a Cressida and also a gun, you know, but you see, that may not be a law. I don't know what is others takeaways, but merely on moral grounds, it may be good, but no one is compelled by law to do that.
Yeah, I think that's really like a hard topic in many countries, because we know that, for example, even in the States, it's required that you declare. We don't know if they do that. So, like you said, it's important that people declare so that we know, as Kizito has explained, and maybe that should be a requirement, you know, with all this corruption charges that come up after every term of office for a party, then it may be important. Yeah,
but it's just also obvious that when you occupy these high offices, you may not even be corrupt. Certain companies, it's their policy and protocol to meet leaders, you know, with gifts and packages.
Yeah.
Some people will give you a plane, some people give you a Mercedes Benz, some people give you shoes, some people give you land, you know. But it is important that when you are on a trip, for instance, I think I hear our former president Lungu was given a land in Swaziland. The issue is, does that land now belong to Zambians, or it was given to him in his personal capacity? Those are things that should be made very clear. And sometimes, you know, what is very funny about corruption is that sometimes you may not necessarily take the money in your pocket, but you could influence a deal to go in favor of your friend. Exactly. You have not even benefited. You have not even taken one kwacha, but the money has gone to a friend who may not qualify perhaps. So, you know, it's gray areas indeed.
Yeah, I think I remember, this reminds me of a case involving the late President Chiluba. He was, I don't know if it was Zamtroop,
yes,
but there was an account where people used to send money as gifts.
Yes.
So now people were like, is this supposed to be for you as a person? Who is this for? And so, yeah, it can create such confusion. So it's better to just declare.
Yeah, so leaders should make it clear that, I've received this gift from this and this person, or investors are in the country and they decided to give me this, large sum of money.
And sometimes people are not very keen to have, you declare, because look, if for instance, let me just say I'm selling a product, I don't want to mention names, but I'm selling beans. And then I take 2 tons of beans and I give to the president, or fish, and then suddenly tomorrow I get the order to supply fish to prisons. People will say, that is the guy who gave the president fish. How come? So sometimes business houses also are not very comfortable, but I know that in countries like China, you can't just go and visit people without a gift, and this is not a small gift. It is supposed to be a lofty gift. I think we had one of the Minister of Labor who said that, people wanted to bribe me. And they said, no, this is our culture. Where we go in our country, it's just normal. So there's a thin line. And that's why in diplomatic ties, you understand countries and people, But even when we declare we are on earth here, where we expect 1 or 2 things to go wrong,
Okay. So now let's move on to the Daily Mail. Daily Mail has some very, very interesting headlines. The screaming headline here says, Members Skips Mpezeni Barrio says to avoid spiritual contamination. Okay. So maybe let's read some of them. Maybe you guys can pick which ones you want to comment on. So there's another one that says 35,000 council staff bank on new law. And this one says HH tips youths work hard, dream big. There's also another headline here that says dismiss petition challenging HH candidature, UPND ages court.
Okay, you know what? I feel like we should say something about the spiritual contamination, because because it's a headline. It's been reported. I just feel like we are throwing away what is important to us. I mean, culture, the way that people lived in the past, the way we've lived is important. The way they bury a chief is important. So we understand that there are certain beliefs that we have, certain ways of life. And I think that if there are certain processes and procedures they do before they bury a chief, they must be important. So I feel like saying that it's spiritual contamination may not be the best thing. I just feel like let the people do what they do. And even if you have, people are going there for a common goal to bury the chief. So whatever spiritual aspects there are, it affects those that believe in those spiritual things. But if you are going there as a person attending the funeral and mourning the chief because it was really a special person, then just go.
Well, Kathy, I seem to find double standards. This is the same Fred member who was recently in South Africa, during the memorial of Lungu, when they were supposed to repatriate the body of Lungu back to Zambia. And today the same Fred member is saying that he can't go, to the funeral, fear of contamination. Perhaps he's just declaring his position and his feeling towards the crown or Mpezeni indeed, because we've seen Fred member attend a number of funerals, but I do know that chiefs, for instance, the Bemba chief, basically not even just a paramount, all chiefs don't attend funerals, even of their close relatives, they don't. And I also know that the Lutunga too does not attend funerals.
Is that for a special reason?
Yes, indeed. But also, if you want to go to the Bible, there were people who were called Nazarites. They kept their dreadlocks. These ones did not. It was a special service to God. So a dead body was considered unclean. So once they did that, they had to go and shave their heads or their hair. These are the cultures we see today, in our culture, where they tell you, you after the funeral, cut your hair and so on and so forth. But then the conversation, if you're going to be a political leader and you're going to fear contamination, and this is the man who wants to be president, then he's not going to attend the state funerals. Then he's telling us all of us will be contaminated, our parents. And when he dies, all of us must boycott, his funeral because we are going to contaminate ourselves. So I think it's some talk that is born from nowhere, that is just bordering on getting attention. Yeah.
He's half Bemba. Don't you think he's doing some sort of chimboya or something?
Then he better declare it that I'm doing chimboya. Otherwise, we'll take his words and misunderstand him.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's doing chimboya, he must be the one to go and receive the body. You know, he can't shun it because already we have received the directive from Vachiti Mkulu that powder them. So why does he want to shun? Then he's a rebel, he's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy. But also he needs to be clear on what he means by spiritual contamination, because that's a very huge, statement.
Yeah. But I mean, largely, Rhoda, if we're going to also be a country that is full of fanatics, again, we will not build empires, because these are supposed to be. He's standing as a presidential candidate, and he must be available where people are. And in our culture, people know you when they have such trying times. That is when you show your muscle. That's when you say, okay, So the next Inkwara ceremony, if he goes there, they will chase him. They will say, look, you didn't want to come here.
Yeah.
I know, for instance, Kambwili can't go to the Chitimukuru there to campaign. They told him, when you were in government, you never came here. You have been in government for a very long time. You have never come to Kusefa Pangwana. Now that you're in opposition, you want to be associated with us, we say you are Bemba. This is nonsense. They told him no, So people also keep records, especially in funerals and weddings. Yeah. So we are keeping records.
All right, so moving on, let's go to the Times of Zambia. And of course, we still have what the president has said earlier on in the other papers, just encouraging youths to work hard and dream big. And also we do see another headline here that says government tightens Ebola preventive measures. As most of you know that Ebola cases are on the rise, especially in the DRC, where there were some first reported cases, and they've already put up preventive measures, especially in regards to borders. So this is actually a story of interest that obviously will be giving you updates on how the situation is when it comes to, what the government is doing.
Yeah, I think talking about Ebola, sometimes it's also important to give context so that people tomorrow are not afraid that they'll get Ebola. So when you look at Congo has a rainforest. And because of the rainforest, some of these things are subject to, to occur. And looking at also the population and the expansivity, the size of Congo, Congo is 3 times bigger than Nigeria. So when you just say Congo, it feels like you are talking about, here and there. Like you reach Congo, the Congo you're talking about in 2 days. It may take you, months, even driving. Some of those places are not even accessible by road. You can only go there by plane. So when they say Ebola, yes, as a country, we must close. We must ensure that we take particular restrictions. But it does not mean that we are going to have Ebola the following day. But it's just important that we take precautions. But again, it shouldn't create fear, and panic in the minds of people. I know that government will put in place a system. Ebola has been with us the last 20, 30 years, and we've kept it. So I know it's something manageable, and I don't know what Kathy thinks.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes because I was watching on some international news platform, and they were talking about the numbers of people that are dying and so on. I think sometimes some of these situations are just really, how can I say, like the reports may not be accurate sometimes, but because they're talking about Africa, so they'll just tend to exaggerate it. So people are saying it may not be as bad as they are reporting about it. And like you said, Kizito, this is something that has been affecting us over the years, and we've managed to contain it. So I think it shouldn't create unnecessary fear.
Absolutely. All right, just in case, the viewers might want to know, as of now, there has been 8 laboratory confirmed cases and 246 suspected cases and 80 suspected deaths. Oh, not in Zambia, do not be afraid, because they can see your faces.
I mean, I was like,
no. That is in Ituri province of the DRC across at least 3 health zones, including some of these, states that I cannot pronounce. But in addition, there has been other reported cases, especially at some of the borders. So in the DRC, especially in those suspected in those provinces where there has been some suspected, cases, they have been putting preventive measures.
Yeah, but maybe Rhoda, let me just put context to your thought. The province mentioned, the closest province to Zambia is, Kasumbalesa, Lubumbashi here. Exactly. Yeah, but those places that I mentioned, I've never even heard of them. I've been to Congo, I've never even heard of them. So,
the villages.
Far frank, it may be even 10,000 kilometers from us here. But anyway, we should go ahead and take precautions.
I feel like there's always, some sort of disease or some sort of thing that they come up with every year. Probably it's to, gain some sort of fans.
I agree. They're what you call back donors. So the back donors, if you come in the NGO world, you are normally funded, and it may interest you to note that much of these civil societies and organizations that work on these things are funded, and the only thing people ask for are reports.
Yeah.
Now these reports are important in informing what they should do for or against Africa. That's why in NGOs you'll not find that there is money for litigation to say if someone steals money. There is no such money, but there is money to ensure that reports are given to these donors. And these donors also have what we call back donors. So the back donors will plan Africa for the next 50 years. Yeah. They will know what will happen the next 60 years. So imagine they have reports about Mongo, they have reports about Kasama, and you see NGO world, your reports will kill you. But you see, for our friends, they read these reports and they know, okay, so now what we need to talk about is this. I mean, when COVID came, they told us Africa is going to die. All of us were ready to die. We resigned. But look, here we are. So sometimes we also just have to wake up and say, hey, we are not going to go that policy. We will not close our borders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do agree with what Kathy said earlier on, because when you look at news in Africa, especially in the DRC, this is the only news that you're getting, by the way, the updates on the Ebola virus, the numbers, and you would wonder to say, so obviously the more the numbers, the more the reports, the more the money.
Yes.
And the more the fear, and the more the numbers. So it's really a terrible thing, because the more that they report on what's going on, the more fear is instilled, just as it was during COVID. The more you hear people are dying, the more people die, because sometimes it was the fear that even if you suffered from just an ordinary cough that we usually had, the cold virus, you would feel like you've got COVID, and people were dying because of that. So you have to really be careful and watch what's going on.
And concerning COVID, we're told that if you don't get the vaccine, then probably in the next few months, next few years, you'll be gone.
Did you all get the
No. And just a thought that you brought, just still talking about the Congo. I'm privy to the fact that if your flight to Congo, which is about an hour from here or half, is more expensive than a flight to Nigeria. I'm telling you.
Why?
So, because you see, people are trying to show you it's difficult to go to Congo because there's a lot of gold minerals. So when people say that there are these problems in Congo, those who should intervene now are given clear room and access. So we must threaten people so that we see that we go and help. In going to help with choppers and helicopters, because you see, you're not going to go by road. So you go with these jets, these helicopters, and so on and so forth. And when you're coming out like the children of Israel with silver and gold,
Okay. Crazy. All right, so let's move on to the news diggers, and we have a headline here that says Millie Meal price drops. Sunshine Milling cuts 40 kwacha, citing kwacha gain. We also have another headline here that says campaigns slow, candidates are broke.
Talking about the kwacha doing well. The kwacha has been doing well for some time. I think it's been quite stable. But rather we are mindful, and Kathy, that we are in a period where we are campaigning. Even business houses are also positioning themselves to be in good books with government. We've been crying for some time for the price of Millie Meal to be reduced, even fuel. We've been telling people reduce fuel. In fact, government made headways to ensure that they remove particular taxes to help all these commodities become cheaper. But for a person suddenly to remove 40 kwacha from, from a commodity, even if you go in a shop, they will tell you, I will remove 5 kwacha, 6 kwacha, 10. But to remove 40 kwacha, I think I doubt this move. And the business houses should also just tell us that, look, in the background, we are trying to make government look good. And it is important. You can declare somehow and say, but, when it is election time, everything for me.
Yeah. So I was listening to a radio program this morning as I was coming to work, and somebody asked the question to say, there are reports that are saying that Zambia has like one of the best performing economies in Africa, but why aren't citizens feeling it? Because everybody seems to be complaining about, the cost of living, and everybody seems to be complaining about being broke, not having money. So make that make sense. So that really gave me some deep thoughts.
I don't know whether Kathy wants to take that, but I could say that, you see, economy, the word economy is an abstract. We are the three of us here. I have 1,000 kwacha. She has 10. You have 20. For me, the economy is bad because I only have this amount. So my translation is according to what is happening in my household. Okay? So now, this is why now the word economics is no longer one. They call it socio-economics. So the socials also must balance, meaning that the hospitals, meaning that the food, meaning that the food basket. So to understand if indeed the economy of God is of Zambia is doing well, we might as well want to consider things like the food basket. What is the price of cooking oil? What is the price of transportation? All these put together, form the economy, but not just the economy, the social economics. So if you go to the marketeers and you ask them, are you okay? If they tell you we are okay, then you can actually say yes. Because then the figures on the table may balance. On the balance sheet, everything has balanced. But if you go to a marketeer, if you go to a woman who is doing a hair salon and they tell you, things are not okay, then it does not agree with the index figures, that the technocrats may give. So, we must balance what the technocrats are saying and what people are experiencing.
True, because I feel like for every economy to be reported as doing well, there's supposed to be these indicators that tell us that this is why we think it's doing well because of this and this and that. And those are some of the things that we've got to look at. And also, just besides the technicalities of it all, I'm sure, like he has said, there are supposed to be these social issues that are also supposed to indicate that the economy is doing well. And so far, from the little that we know as ordinary citizens, it doesn't seem like everything is balancing. It's showing these indicators are visible for us to tell that, oh, wow, the economy is doing well, and this is what's happening. Like, there should be money at least in circulation. And now people are saying, oh, we're all broke and things are so expensive. So yeah, I guess that's...
And men are not dating anymore.
Speaking of
Pardon?
And men are not dating anymore. I mean, everyone is sticking to one girlfriend.
Well, speaking of households, maybe this should be asked individually. How's the economy at you?
You see, this is
now she's taking things personally.
Yeah.
Personally, how's the economy?
This is what I was actually saying, that to see if you translate it to that, would be very unfair. In fact, this is where in families you find that even at a funeral, you can see different economies. Even at burial sites, you can see different economies. Some people are burying here, others have a tent, others have this, this mausoleum, So, and then just at the graveyard, as if when God comes, you will say, you were buried like this, So really, economy is an abstract.
Yeah, it is. And I think that if we have to be personal about this, we just all have to be just very optimistic. Yeah, no matter what the situation is, whatever economy you have to believe in the kind of economy that you want. And maybe like the president said, we have to work hard and just believe, be positive that everything is going to be okay. Because if you remain in a state where you're constantly saying, I'm broke, things are not working, believe you, I don't like that term, but why am I using it? But yeah, believe it that things will constantly be like that. Yeah. So the more optimistic you say that things are changing for me, getting better, the economy is going to be better. And if it's at national level, we begin to make decisions that help us to get the economy to where we want it to be. Even during election time, we begin to question who is saying what are they promising, how feasible are these promises. Then I think we will be heading in the right way, and our economies will get better.
Absolutely. Some very good motivation this morning. I think a lot of people needed to hear that.
That's right.
But obviously, we have the last one, which is the must, and it says HH deserves second term. Free education and pension reforms must be fully actualized through continuity in government, Dr. Mumba. And the other headline here says, let nothing divide Zambia, Zimbo. UPND cadres will answer for violence, warns Msoni.
Okay, maybe taking up a leaf on whether the Zambian people, should give President HH another term. We all know that one's vote is secret, and it's up to you to make an assessment, to make a decision. But if truth be told, our president has scored in terms of education, free education, and of course making it law. We did say, I think last time, Kathy, that Zambia is among the African countries that where other people are actually getting a pilot to know how this is working at secondary school, primary school, particularly in the rural setting. Those of us in Lusaka maybe may not be the targets, but indeed, this has been something worthwhile. Talking about that the president, has scored. Maybe it could even be 10-0, in terms of free education. Because if you ensure that the country has high literacy levels, it is easier for people to read, write, and be meaningful and interpret things. Even business, you're required to study and read clauses. Is this in order? Do I want to do this? So there the president has scored. Of course, there have been a couple of progressive laws that the president has brought in, and those are kudos. What I hear people talking and maybe having reservation, particularly in diaspora, is that sometimes the president has taken the country, single-handedly. If he believes this must be done, there's been little consultation, and sometimes what he wants to do could be well, but it is important to have to allow people to have time to absorb, to take in, and say, okay, yes, we agree, because in democracy is about numbers, it's about the people. We saw the constitution that came in, there was a lot of talk. They said, okay, look, why don't we postpone this so that we could relook at it. Just a new bill that has passed on NAPSA, those are progressive bills, but they were passed over there. We had members of parliament had to stay in for 2, 3, 4 days to conclude everything, so it, even though the president means well, people may begin to doubt. So the Zambian people, we will decide if they want to give him a mandate, and it's not up to someone to say, hey, no, because even the president, Rhoda Mulenga, on that day, we only have one president. We say the day the president begged the people, as we go to the poll on 13th August, the president will be begging us. He will not be our boss. There we will decide, we'll go in the ballot paper. And I pray that Zambians will be thoughtful, contemplative, and think, should I give this man a vote? Now, and also I think that it should not be on tribal lines to say he comes from Southern Province, he comes from where. We are all Zambians. And that's a conversation I think that we should steer. And if we're going to give him a mandate, we give him a mandate based on what he has achieved. Yeah. And if there are things he has not achieved, he must be bold enough to say, I need time. This I could have not done. The road shading is not completely done. Right now, people are afraid that if the president comes, road shading may continue. But you see, these are conversations, and these are the things the citizens must hear and say, okay, maybe we may not end it, but this is what we are going to do. For the first time, I've seen that my units are very expensive. Normally, I'll just buy and forget. But this time, that thing has to remind me, and I keep getting annoyed. I buy again, after 3-4 days,
Yeah.
I
mean, those are the significant topics that we have to talk about. And I think my concern, my personal opinion is that, and really just also drawing from what other people may be feeling, is that this is done very rushed. All the policy changes, all the enactments All these are very rushed. We had 5 years in which to do some of these things. And so people really question the goodwill of all these actions, because we should have been doing this in the first year that we came in, would have said, what needs to be changed in the second year, in the third year, why in the fifth year? So, you know, people are questioning, and they're right to question. So it's up to the ruling government to open up and say, listen, this is what stopped us, and this is why we're making these decisions now. But we haven't heard that. We need them to be open.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
All right, so those are the newspaper headlines that we have this morning, and of course expect some of those headlines that we have seen in our newspapers. Obviously, you know, as the day goes on, to see some comments from people around the country, and of course our dear viewers that are watching us right now. But for now, let's take a short breather and get to see our Today in History.
Welcome to New World of Entertainment in Zambia. Cartoons, music, news, movies, drama, series, documentaries, food, travel, the best from Hollywood and Bollywood. International football, including CAF competitions, La Liga, Serie A, German Bundesliga, Saudi League, Carabao Cup, Asian Championship, Barclays Women's League, local leagues, and much more. Grab your Azam TV decoder at 350 Zambian kwacha and full kit at 589 Zambian kwacha. Affordable monthly packages: 100 Zambian kwacha, 200 Zambian kwacha, and 300 Zambian kwacha. For more details, contact us on 971-246-222. 763-664-455. WhatsApp 77-500-0013. Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Not long ago, many children in Zambia did not go to school because their parents could not afford it. Today, 2.5 million children are back in the classroom, sitting on desks and being fed nutritious meals under the school feeding program. Markets are now peaceful with no kind of violence. Clinics stand where there were none. There's still much work ahead, jobs to create, futures to secure. And that's why Bali keeps working day after day. Because just as we delivered free education, we will keep delivering. For every child still waiting and every family still rising. Until progress is something every Zambian feels. We've started the change. Now let's finish the job. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let us continue to move Zambia forward together.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazungula bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar, channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
Zambia heads to the 2026 general election, a defining moment for the nation's democracy. Who will win the presidential poll and what choice will shape Zambia's future? Follow the latest campaign updates, election stories, and breaking development. Tune in to PTV2 Zambia, the home of breaking news 24/7. From the heart of Africa to the world, we bring you the stories, voices, and development shaping the continent. Stay informed with the in-depth reports, current affairs, politics, business, culture, and major headlines across Africa. Africa in Perspective News every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 15:30 hours, only on PTV2 Zambia, the home of breaking news 24/7.
What is love if you don't give it away?
Want to charm a woman anyway because you are built to pursue.
It is a mutual knowing. Intentional love will always win. Join us for Love Diaries, where couples share their love stories, play fun games, and more. Love Diaries, where love is honest, learning is constant, and conversations matter. Love Diaries, love will always win.
Before 2022,
Right, welcome back. You're still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show right here on PTV2. And of course, earlier on, Kathy did mention that she had a very interesting, she actually attended a very interesting event over the weekend. And obviously, you did speak to some interesting people as well, just to get information on, you know, some of the things that were happening. Maybe shed more light and we can get to see the clip.
Okay, so I did talk to some artists and also the organizer of the event, Nancy. And so I just chatted with her to help me understand what the event was all about, and so we can see more in this interview. Good. Hi, today we are here at the Zambian Arts and Design Show right here at East Park Mall. And I'm with Nancy Matambo, who is the organizer of this event. Nancy, welcome to the interview.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
We're so happy to be here. It's so beautiful with all the people exhibiting. It's really...
This midwinter show is quite young. This is the fourth one we've done. The other show is in November, and that one is in year 19, actually. So it started as a very small show with 6 vendors, and it's grown to here we have 80, and in November we have 120.
Really?
And we now, some even come from the region, Zimbabwe, Malawi.
Okay, so today do you have any exhibitors from outside of the country?
Well, yes, we're sitting in this nest, although he's based here now, he's making them here. He originally was from Zim.
Okay.
Across there, I'll take you there in a while. We've actually got 2 vendors from Malawi.
Okay, that's
and we've
beautiful.
got vendors from all over Zambia.
Okay. So why arts and designs?
Well, I mean, art is part of our life, and there's a lot of creativity. So we wanted to showcase for people to realize what is being produced in Zambia from the handmade community, and merge it and expose the artisans to the would-be buyers.
Okay, and do people come to exhibit?
We have different homeware, skincare, fashion, meaning clothes, fine art, paintings. We've been to the food court, baskets. It's handmade. It's predominantly handmade products.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And so far, like, how has it been exposed to other, like you said, Malawi? Any other countries around?
We've had a lot of interest. There's also a pottery maker from Botswana, although they were based here many years ago.
Okay.
We've had also pottery from Botswana. And we're getting a lot of inquiries.
Yeah.
Even from as far as West Africa, but nobody's exhibited yet. But it's,
it's growing.
It's spread, yeah.
Okay. So how can people be part of the show?
Follow us on social media. We do a vendor call out because we're trying to discover more artisans.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how would you describe this year's event?
It's the first time we're doing it centrally at East Park, but it's been great.
Okay.
We usually do it. We've been quite far out in Lusaka South and New Kasama, so we've seen a lot of new faces that we've never seen. So I think it's spread out to at least, because it's central, we've seen a lot of new people who've come to experience that. A lot of them who had never known about it.
Okay, so Zambian arts sounds very formal. Do you get any support from the Ministry of Tourism?
Absolutely, a lot of support from the National Arts Council, which was part of the Ministry of Tourism. Always, Zambia Tourism Agency, we've had a lot of support from them over the years from the beginning.
Okay, great. So you have any last words you would like to say to the people, especially those who love art and those who don't know anything about it?
Yes, well, this is that. Today's our last day, but please follow us so you don't miss the next show.
Yes.
We have a lot in between. Just follow our social media pages. You can still come.
Yeah.
But follow us so you don't miss the November show.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And maybe we can talk to Joe, who's...
Thank you for staying with us. Now, as Zambia heads towards the August general elections, concerns about political violence and intolerance continue to dominate public discourse. And the latest incident occurred in Chawama's John Howard compound, where police arrested 5 suspects following violent clashes between supporters of the United Party for National Development and the Tonse Pamosi Alliance. According to Zambia police, the confrontation resulted in allegations of aggravated robbery, assault, and unlawful wounding and malicious damage to property. Police spokesperson Godfrey Chilabi says suspected Tonse Pamosi Alliance supporters allegedly attacked and ransacked the UPND Ward 3 office, with property worth thousands of kwacha reportedly damaged and a laptop stolen. Before we begin our discussion, let's take a look at some of the scenes from Chawama.
offense. So offense na tumba up on fire. So man got put offense. That's what I mean now. How about it? I was going to Sunday. Jumpa na offense. So jumpa offense na tumba up on fire. So man got put offense. That's what I mean now. How about it? I was going to Sunday.
Well, those are some of the scenes emerging from Chawama, and joining us this morning to help us unpack the growing concerns around political violence, democratic participation, and electoral competitiveness is human rights activist and governance expert, Mr. Dennis Mutumba. Good morning and welcome to our Sunrise Breakfast Show.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Prime TV, and the viewers out there.
All right, now, Mr. Mutumba, we have just witnessed, disturbing scenes of political violence in Chawama. What is your immediate reaction after what happened?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's quite very disappointing that the people in Zambia, and especially members of political parties, have involved themselves into violence, and which is not the right thing to do. And also, speaking from the activism point of view, as an advocate of also good governance, I think I'm very disappointed, and I think it's a disappointment to each and every person.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on. I think we are assured under the leadership of UPND that there will never be violence, and especially that we are going toward election. Why should people indulge themselves into political violence? What are they trying to achieve? Because we know political violence, in many cases, they would want to gain political marriage.
Yeah.
But you cannot gain political marriage by involving yourself into violence. You must exercise, your rights nicely. You can't force people, you can't hate people, you can't humiliate people in order for you to gain political marriage. I think it's quite very disappointing.
Yeah.
When I saw the clip, I was trying to wonder who is behind all this. I think political parties have sections that monitor, especially those that are in violence, mainly are young people, youths. So it could be maybe some youth leaders in political party
incidents. Would you describe them as isolated cases, or do they point to a deeper problem within Zambia's political culture?
There is a problem. It's not an isolated problem. It is something to do with, we've continued with a culture of thinking. When we become violent, that's when now we prove that we are political cadres. Actually, cadres, in a deeper sense, they are people that are more disciplined because they are supporters of a political party under discipline. Not where we see cadres today, they are thugs, in fact, because such kind of act is staggering. And this is what the president discouraged when he was sworn in. I think it is high time that we are now going toward election. Let the president monitor what young people, those who call themselves cadres, what they're doing, because they will really dent the name of UPND, they will dent the name of the president. People are frustrated. They don't want to experience what they experienced during PF. People are expecting UPND to govern under a peaceful environment where they already say what he said is being actualized and young people are being disciplined. But we've been hearing youth leaders from UPND who threatened, in fact promising, that they will definitely maybe sometimes attack those who would go independent. But now, look at what has been lost during this same violence. It's uncalled for. I think we are appealing and admonishing the UPND government to tame their members of political party to make sure that whoever is involved in political violence is alone. Sure.
Now, we do know that political violence has often been condemned by those in the opposition. only for similar accusations to, emerge when those same parties assume power. What does this tell us about the state of political accountability in Zambia?
There is no accountability in terms of, political violence. I think what you've just said reminds me of how much we promise people that when we get into power, we'll not do what others are doing. But I think it is repeating itself. That I think maybe engagements, especially where people are now even looting properties that belong to people. It's a lesson to opposition that are promising the people that them when they govern, they would be more peaceful. They would tame their supporters. I think UPND, through the address, I think you recall very well, your media houses, you're aware what the president had promised this country. But it's not the story. Recently, we saw the incident in Mazabuka. That action, that violence was driven by, cadres from the UPND, which at the end of the day, because they're in power, they're trying also to defend themselves. It's not fair because we live under democracy where everyone can exercise his or her own right, especially when they make their own opinion, they make their own decision. They must be respected. UPND will never be in power forever. That's one thing people should know. There is a saying and the proverb which says, there is nothing permanent except change. So there is something that we should learn from Kaunda, who served longer. He was normal. MMD thought they would serve longer. They are normal. PF thought they would serve longer. They are normal. UPND equally. There is a limit of power. No matter how long it takes, we may not be there, but somebody must leave office. So whoever is excited that maybe this UPND will be there forever, it will not. Because under democracy, we have multi-party democracy where people are forming political parties daily. We love UPND, we love their ideology, we love their message, but let UPND supporters respect themselves. Me, I can't even call them to be cadres because a cadre is a more respected person. That's one thing people should understand. That behavior is staggering. Does not even suit political, powers where they think because they are young people they can do anything. They're just tarnishing the name of UPND, and people are looking forward to see that behavior ending, or people decide otherwise.
So now, who should bear the greatest responsibility when political violence occurs? Is it political parties, law enforcement agencies, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, or individual supporters?
I think it's a corrective. It's a corrective effort. Let it start with the president himself. The president must address this problem. Then ECZ, their duty is to see to it that every political party adhere to the electoral code of conduct. The police must act on people that commit a crime, or maybe those who assault other political players. So it is a collective effort, but let it start with the party in power, because these characters are representing a party in power. So sometimes, police, because it's a culture where, you don't arrest those that belong to a political party that is in power because you fear the authority that is governing. And now we are saying His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, he was quoted saying, I don't want cadarism. Why should his people continue to be involved in cadarism? So let it start with the president, then the police should act. If any political party is involved into political violence, then ECZ must come in and disqualify those people that favor. That's my view.
Okay.
Sure.
So now, you've said something, quite interesting. And just to add on that, many Zambians are actually asking themselves whether law enforcement is applying the law equally regardless of political affiliation. From what you have observed, do citizens have confidence in the neutrality of state institutions during this campaign period?
That's why my prayer in the near future, we must, revise and amend our laws in Zambia, where, public institutions like, for example, security wings, police must act independent, but we still have a law which is against our mind that when police is engaged to bring peace, or law and order, they must not look who is affiliated to which political party. They must just act because whoever commits a crime is not above the law. But we've seen a situation where there is a command because the IG, the Inspector General of Police, is an appointed person from the president. So he's the one who gives a command to the police to act on certain violences. But as long as they fear the authority that appointed them, they will not do things accordingly. So that's why in the near future, there are countries I've seen where police is very independent. They can arrest anyone, whoever belongs to a political party, as long as one has committed a crime. They have no fear because there is no one who is above the law. But this time around, it's like there is an instruction. Even just to like accommodate, violent, participators, you would find that they overpower even the security. I would have fired some police officers because there is no way. There is no way they would say, no, cadres overpowered us. Why are they trained? Why don't they put enough security measures to protect cadres?
Political violence, but apart from that, does this suggest that this is a failure of leadership?
Exactly. They are not two ways about it. It's failure because you need to tame your supporters. You need to discipline them. You need to mentor them on how they should behave. Of course, we know there is a youth wing in every political party, but those are not members who should act out of the law. They must act according to the law, respect the law, and also respect the rules of this country that violence is a crime because it ends up injuring other people who are innocent. Of course, we know by doing so, they would want to gain political marriage, that they are showing to be available all the time. But it is not the case. What we need to do is that our supporters must just make sure that they preach good news to the people, joining their leader who promotes democracy, who promotes peace in this country. They must also respect his agenda because they represent him wherever they are. So whatever action they will do, it represents that he has authorized them. Is this what people should call Hakainde Hichilema, that is sending cadres? I read something on the social media where some post indicates that Hakainde Hichilema has sent police to stop Garry Nkombo from holding a rally. Hakainde Hichilema has sent cadres to beat up a certain political leader. This is the message. This is how people take it. But if the president is innocent from these actions, he must immediately send people to address the youth that those who cannot abide by the rules of a party, respecting human rights, they are on their own. So police should act on them immediately and take them to court so that we set a precedence to say police officers don't tolerate some nonsense. Sometimes, police officers are tied up. The moment they act professionally, some we've heard, they are being intimidated. They are being threatened of being maybe sent far away because they've acted against what the command has instructed. We want just a nation that has professional, police officers who act accordingly without fearing a political party. Sure.
Now, Mr. Mtumba, let's talk about the bigger picture. Compared to previous elections, some campaign activities appear less active, in certain parts of the country. Is this voter apathy, campaign fatigue, economic pressure, or a sign that some political parties have failed to mobilize effectively?
I would want to tell you that people are already decided. I'm also a candidate, by the way. I'm an independent candidate under council, Ashwinji Town Council. Campaigns are not happening the way we used to know that, when there is an election, you see, you hear noise everywhere. You are able to look at, social media is also posting campaigns, but I think people somehow, somewhere are disappointed. They are no longer interested to hear a news. Which news are you going to preach to them? Because their interest is that, one, Zambians want to see an economy that balances, where you feel that, yes, when I'm paid, I will be able to spend money and I'll have something to save. This time around, the economy is very hard. I'm not saying UPND have failed. They're trying by all means, but they must game up. They should not be in the comfort zone. Okay? Opposition must not be tolerated, must not be, in fact, underrated. In the sense that, you know, the more you become reluctant, there is also opposition. Remember, opposition is there to make checks and balances. When they are criticizing a government in power, they don't simply mean they hate the government, but there is something, there's an agenda they are pushing to make sure that there is good governance. So now, when you look at the campaigns, the way they are going on, there are very few that are campaigning. Where I come from, it's even boring. The other person was telling me that sometimes we're even wasting money to campaign because people have already decided. So now, people are fatigued. They have economical pressure, which this government should work on. If they are given a chance to continue, they must game up and improve so that they leave a legacy that whatever they are preaching has been actualized. Of course, they've done better in a number of areas, but they need still to improve. That's why we are going for election, because people need to decide, should we continue with the government in power, or should we bring in opposition? Except opposition is a disappointment to the people of Zambia because they are ever divided. You've seen a number of political leaders leaving their political party, joining UPND. It's a sign that we don't have a stronger opposition political party. And this is a message that Hakainde Hichilema, he is going, I think, to be a president again for the next 5 years. Why? The opposition is not organized. I stand in to be a balanced and a neutral person in a manner that we need to have opposition in order for us to see as to whether the government that is in power is performing to the expected performance. So as of now, people are no longer interested to attend even rallies because they're just going to hear the same thing. There is nothing new except the agenda and also the ideologies that are being promised to the people and the manifesto that is already there. Of course, we're able to say, okay, in this area, UPND is doing better than the previous government, but that's not enough. We need this government to do more better and fulfill all the promises they made to the Zambian people. Sure.
But how dangerous is voter apathy to democracy, particularly in a high competitive election year like this one?
It's a sign that Zambians have protested. Yeah, it's a protest. Now, we need to encourage people that people must do the right thing. This is the year of election. Whether we like it or not, we must go to vote and choose a party that we feel can govern, or continue with a party that we feel is doing better. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in the manner that also ECZ is behaving. To me, they are becoming unprofessional. They're becoming unprofessional in the sense that even the voters' education, they're not doing it the way they're supposed to do it. It's different from the previous election. What does this tell us? Because they need to go flat out to educate people, announce, bring programs of, voter education awareness. I think they are not doing the best. Today, to some of us who are candidates, there is a change of programs every day. There is miscommunication. So they are simply misleading the nation. They are misleading political parties. They must be more professional than ever before. So I'm admonishing the ECZ Commission to improve their service because they are professionals. We don't want to hear stories after these elections that, observers that are coming from international communities are complaining about, the ineffectiveness of ECZ. So there is a lot that this country needs to do, especially where voter apathy is seemingly to be, more higher than ever before. So my admonishing to ECZ that let them do their best to make sure that they educate people on how important it is to vote.
But also, what are the long-term consequences for democracy when voters are presented with fewer choices on the ballot?
This is undemocratic. Maybe let me say something that will make people understand that this is undemocratic. You have seen a lot of independent candidates. Are you hearing that independent candidates are withdrawing? For the first time in the history of Zambian politics, you have unopposed independent candidates. How do you feel? How are Zambians feeling? What is going on? What is causing all these unopposed candidates? Something is wrong, and I feel after election, people raise concern, they may petition the election that how could it be that in a number of constituencies, especially these newly, constituencies that were formed, we've seen a number of members who came from UPND at a later stage, even after filing in, they've decided to withdraw. What is making them to withdraw? Why don't they allow these independent candidates to go up to 13th and, feel the heat of, voters, how they will decide? But we've seen that there is a number of independents who are too strong, but later on they declare that we've withdrawn. To me, I have a feeling that there is something that is going on. We can't have, of late, you find that if it is on the Mutumba and the other brother, so this is undemocratic. We need to allow people exercise their rights. It's very worrying. Sometimes some people are saying there is no need for us to vote. It's like this government wanting in every constituency, they want to go unopposed. Is that democracy? Let them allow competition, because competition helps you to understand as to whether you are doing better or not. Sure.
Okay, now let's examine the role of citizens. Are Zambians doing enough to reject politicians who use violence as a political tool?
In fact, Zambians should communicate to any political party that would come that they should not tolerate any person who is violent to hold a position. They must not give power to such a person. But because we don't educate our voters, voters will never think of that. To them, they'll think whoever overpowers the other is more powerful. But that is not right. Any person who promotes violence is not a good leader. A good leader promotes freedom, peace, and democracy. You cannot allow your children to go and fight because you feel they are stronger than others. You must not allow that. You must tell your children that when you respect yourselves, you're also respecting me. When you respect people, people respect me. But the moment you become more violent, you disrespect people, you take the law in your own hands, you're also tarnishing my name. So whatever action is taken by some political leaders thinking that they are winning political mileage, they must understand that people are injured. They may decide against them, because what if they get into office again? They will continue. So Zambians must be educated on how to choose leaders, how they can choose a leader who is peaceful and who promotes the agenda of democracy. This is a democratic country. We are not ruled by a king who can decide anything without our voice. Zambians must have a voice. With whatever is happening, they must be able to decide, because it's up to them. If they allow leaders who are violent to rule them, then there will be no peace in this country. Tomorrow this country will be divided. So I'm appealing to voters that whatever is happening, let them decide now. Are those people promoting violence good leaders? Is this what Zambians want? Zambians want a leader who is peaceful. They were happy when they heard the president saying they won't be cadres. They said, amen. We have now a leader who looks at the rights of the people, because people were being humiliated by the previous government. But this is something that is more like repeating itself.
Yeah.
Sure.
So now, as a good governance advocate, what reforms would you like to see implemented to reduce political violence and strengthen electoral integrity in Zambia?
I think the first thing that I would want, because I also speak from the good governance point of view, that this issue of allowing, thugs to control political parties that are in power should come to an end. We need also to amend certain provisions of the law, not to allow, cadres, especially when there are these big meetings. We've seen that, these cadres are controlling even the system that is in power, just like it used to happen in the previous government of PF, where now cadres became more powerful than police officers. We want this not to take place again. And our prayer is that whichever political party would rule this country in the near future, let's see to it that there is discipline, especially where supporters are trying to control the government in power. The theme, maybe they are better than those that are put in power by law. So there is a lot of reforms that needs to be made. Sure.
Right, so now, lastly, what message would you like to send to political leaders supporters and obviously electoral agencies out there, as we're only remaining with a few weeks to head to the polls as Zambians?
I would like to also appeal to ECZ. ECZ must disqualify political players that are involved into political violence. We are worried, some of us who are aspiring as independent, our lives are at risk. We are fearing how we reach even 13th August. This country is a democratic country that gives power and the rights to anyone who would want to contest, to represent the people in any given society or community. My prayer is that the president, if he wants to be respected, let him also term his political prayer or opposition political prayers. They have their supporters, they have also representatives within that political party. Let us make sure that we follow electoral code of conduct. We are guided on how we are supposed to behave. We are supposed to tell our supporters not to be violent, not to fight until we reach 13th August and let people decide. It is not a small minority group that will decide on behalf of majority Zambians, but we want to ensure that let there be peace toward this election. Let us do our campaigns very peaceful. We must not be disturbed. We must not be threatened. We must not be injured, because at the end of the day, it is the people that will decide. If they want to return the government in power, they will return it. If they want to fix in some people to replace certain positions where they feel leaders that were there did not perform, let us allow people choose. You know, what is important is that we have a good governance. Good governance simply means accountability, making sure that we do what is best for the people. That is my message.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mtumba, for coming through to our Sunrise Breakfast Show and for just sharing those insights with us this morning. And to our dear viewers, democracy flourishes when ideas compete and not feast. So when citizens participate, not intimidate, and when leaders unite rather than divide. Do stay with us. More conversations, analysis, and of course, the day's top stories are still ahead right here on the Sunrise Breakfast Show. Now, speaking of stories making headlines, some village headmen in Kazungula district of Southern Province are calling for peace among political players as campaigns unfold in the country. Speaking to PTV2 News, the traditional leaders say peace is key to maximizing democratic space during this period of campaigns, hence the need to ensure political players do not involve themselves in political violence. Colombo Tamwana Ngombe has the rest of the details.
Campaigns are underway as Zambians are expected to exercise their constitutional right on August 13th by electing their preferred candidates through voting. However, political violence in some parts of the country is another problem that needs to be looked into, especially during this period of campaigns. To this effect, some village headmen in Kazungula district of Southern Province are calling for peace among political players as campaigns unfold.
Baba inzi mwaliketisa, baba zama mwaliketisa. Lukupa kuli, bazama ise handeliketisa, kusike kwa banilindwa. Kakulilindwa aziyaisi. Serubata kikozo, mwana abuserize iye na wapili, mulenaruna, Kenneth Kaunda. Lukupa kuli, kube ni kozo na chwaro.
Lubata liketsa leta kwa patale lubata kusuzeza bana babuna kuli bakenzi namubala nizi mwala madala nani mcha nisana kumatagazi baki madala bali kwe swena nyabutali sina Hakainde ne usayi omunyene mutwana madala itani malifasi mwa area una kutopata mama ni mule naona sikute laitumira kuli nena mule nasutona sali omunyene napo kupanya Hakainde hapa kwa lazima panga ma 5 years akavuta mani ketsamu bati ukabana vinao naye kono kupa kozo likozo ibeteni.
Given an example of what transpired in Lusaka's Chawama area on 5th June 2026, where UPND and Tonse Alliance cadres clashed, the traditional leaders state that Zambians must respect and hold on to peace that has been restored by President Hakainde Hichilema, as this is key to national development.
So luvata kikuti kozo, luvukube ni kozo, sinambona kuti President yalitenifa, uti size kozo, yene inzi mtu yene sapiri kukukaunda.
One of the village headmen, Charles Moluti Matongo, has another appeal to make.
Ntu yelu kupa hulu kwa Hakainde. Ma polling stations
abona challenge ma distances ma polling stations kakuli kuzwa fafa kawewa kuya kwa GRZ. It's almost about 8 kilometers. So kambe batsaye polling station fa kawewa machembele banene bakaba bunolo kwa kuvota.
As Zambia goes to the polls on the 13th of August in the year 2026, this is the message coming from the traditional leaders here in Skaunzwe in Kazungula district, where they want to see peace prevailing before, during and after the elections. Kwalombota Mwanangombe reporting, Prime TV News in Skaunzwe area of Kazungula district, Southern Province.
What do you want us to do? Well, we continue conversating, and of course, Rhoda there. What a lovely interview. I think we have a man who is balanced, who is able to analyze issues objectively, and I'm glad that he's calling on the president to put his political house in order. Of course, we do know that the president is a no-nonsense man, and that if something is said from his part, to the party. They will hear. For instance, we did see him talk about Garry Nkombo when an incident happened, and he said, look, the police must be professional and do their job. So we are hoping in this season and time that all the stakeholders and all the institutions that are tasked to govern and to help with the elections do their work. Of course, they're under pressure, but maybe this is where we we require also to have new laws to allow ECZ to have the power to bite. Right now, they can only do this, that, but they may not have the power to bite. But working with police, we can see that things are happening. What I just find very unfortunate is that we see random, arrests. If it is the opposition doing it, the people who are found are arrested. If it is the other party, then these people go free. I think that we voted in for UPND because we believed we were going to have a haven. We are going to have some peace and stability because, the political cadarism went to the dogs. That was just unthinkable. My worst fear, Rhoda Kathy, was having my sets removed because during that time, that was the talk of the day. Rhoda, why are you shying away? You see, that yes, because you see, have you forgotten that this was a talk of yes, and then I'm thinking, what will happen to me, my God? No, but I'm making reference to where we're coming from, and where we're coming from was not very good. Gassing, the cadres. One will just stop at you, including at the police station. So UPND has a legacy of stopping some of these things, but we're seeing them coming in pockets, and it is at this point that we need a voice of a father to say, hey, stop it. This has gone too much. We already saw activities in Northwestern Province. We've seen with other activities. So we are hoping that we really could normalize these things and move away from these things. On a lighter note, also, you see, life has just become very funny. The World Cup is starting in a few days or so, and we hear Iran is at first they said they will boycott the World Cup, but now they will be in they will be in America, and Trump has said that they can only be in America within 24 hours, and after they play the game, they go. And if there's bad weather or something happens, they're supposed to be grounded or whatever the case. And so Mexico or another country there said, look, we can proudly accommodate them, so they will have to go to another country. Now these are things that are happening at global level, just to show you that maybe Zambia is not the only country where we're having squabbles and thinking. I think we've never had a situation where we tell someone, we just give it 24 hours to leave. Even a wife, if you are divorcing, will require that you do it amicably. You settle down, you sit. But these diplomatic ties are showing that perhaps the world is going to be taking another shape. And I'm hoping that as a country, as Zambia and as Africa, we can still continue to use our Ubuntu in our conversations.
Definitely. So that's really funny. And I've heard that, in terms of attendance or people going to watch the World Cup, it hasn't been as it was expected because, I don't know. So I was thinking maybe it's the Iran issue. And to hear that Iran will be allowed to play maybe makes it safe for America, because, you know, if there was anything, let's just say something happened or they were planning to do anything, which I don't know and I doubt, if Iran is there, there's no way they'll bomb with their people there, right?
What if they are suicide bombers?
Well, I think if they know that their people are there, they may take precautions, or they may not even do it.
No, I'm saying if the players are suicide bombers, they themselves, yes, you have pledged to your country that I'm going to be a hero on the day.
No, I think I wouldn't want to think like that, because that would be really messy. But in the spirit of what is the spirit they say about football? The spirit of football.
Yeah, fairness, fair play.
Yes, fair play. I hope that they will just stick to
to
playing and being present for the reason why they are there.
Yeah, and of course that they are going to meet America in one of the games.
Yeah.
So,
really?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting
So you can imagine it is going to be a grudge match. Trump there watching. It will not be football. It will be very technical.
Yes.
Children will be watching. Americans will be watching. And if Iran wins, and I pray for controversy that Iran wins, you can imagine what will happen on social media the following day in Iran.
Yeah.
You know. So but I mean that. We should always endeavor as human beings to exploit that soft part, narrative. Even before you start fighting, first of all, you bow to each other, you respect each other, you say hi, and then even after the game is over, you say hi. You know, but you see,
you've been beaten.
Exactly, you still have to say hi. But you see, on the political ground, if you are beaten, you are beaten and goodbye. See you. We will not meet again.
Yeah, beaten and bitter.
You know, yes, bitter indeed. I remember someone asking President Longo to say, so now that you have lost an election, what does it mean? And I liked what he said. He says, we lost an election, we didn't lose God. So life continues. And I think that going forward, we must learn to be good losers. We will not always win. We've lost girls, we've lost parents, we've lost... Kathy, haven't we lost girls or boys? We have indeed in this life. And
life goes on. You'll be broken for like a day or so. It takes months. I tell you, yes.
How long did it take you, Rhoda? You seem to be an expert.
Not that long.
How long?
I'm very busy.
How long? Tell us.
Maybe a day or a few hours.
Oh, no, Rhoda, that's not true.
I'm very busy. Who has time? Time and day.
Broken heart.
This is time to think about, how the economy is performing. Not to make money. But, you still feel that heartbreak in one way or another, especially in the night when it gets dark.
Now you're telling us a secret.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just keep watching the two of you go on about this. Anyway, you are still watching Sunrise Breakfast Show, and we appreciate your company this morning. So now, there's been this video circulating on social media about the pastor. We talked about it before. Yeah. So now they've said that they've caught, they've actually burnt down the tree, and they've caught the snake that was in there using charms. Maybe we have a video clip that we can show, so we see.
Mama ni hatari sana huyo mama.
Welcome back. Well, what do you think, guys? Or what are people saying about that?
So this story has actually, sparked mixed reactions.
Yeah.
With some people viewing it through a spiritual lens, while others are raising questions about safety, facts, and the role social media plays in amplifying such incidents. But also, we did post this on our social media, so we'll get to some comments and see what people are saying or reacting to this. Martin MK says, so the witch doctor is more powerful than Vapapa. And Angelic Worshipper says, didn't the witch doctor come with the dead snake in his pocket? Because I don't trust these guys. They have now become Mapapas. Let him go and heal the pastor Kabidi first, since he knows the secret behind it. Perhaps we might believe him. Okay, so some other interesting comments. Joachim says, is that a graduation gown?
Yeah, I was also wondering what that gown was. Yeah. Crazy.
Victor says, African tradition, not all papas are connected. Panichi says, camera on point, you have a special place in heaven, cameraman. And Daniela says, this tree should be used as the licensure exam for any papa who wishes to open a church. It's too much. Elbert says, I didn't know to be a traditional doctor you should be extra fit. So now Brian Aongola says, I have a feeling this is just a made-up story, or rather comedy. Miles Mwape says, I think the witch doctor is about to start a new course, snake catching 101 for all pastors. Interesting comments coming from our, dear viewers out there.
And strangely, all these guys are
are Bembas. So
we're all Bembas, by the way. As we are seated like this. Yeah, that's what I was telling him. Like, it's not fun because pouring powder on others, we can't even do it.
But in Njovu, we could have brought our head driver to just take advantage and pour, the powder. But guys, Zambia has a lot of drama. I think that with the heat of elections, these people should continue to give us such footage, because the first one was Nasumo. This one is Naisanga, so birds of the same feathers. Yeah. But it would be important to just do a follow-up story to know how this witch doctor pastor is now, because we are making another one a celebrate. I think the source of the story is a celebrate for me. It is the one who said Dasumo. I think for me is a hero of the day. And lately I saw a video of Musungu, playing the drama, replaying it and says, I'm doing this. Dasumo Musungu, and so you can see how much it has touched people, and maybe it is just showing that Zambia can move from Nollywood to Zambiahood, where we can also have our own local content.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so we would like to hear what your views are. Continue sending those messages on our Facebook page and reaching out to tell us what you think about that story. So, incidences like that make us, we ask ourselves, is this true? Is this exaggerated? And we raise important questions that deserve public discussion. So send us your thoughts and comments. We now take a short break, but stay with us. When we come back, Jeremiah Chalwe takes us through sports.
Mama ni hatari sana huyo mama.
It was a beautiful weekend, and I'm pretty sure that you enjoyed yourselves, especially as far as sports is concerned. I had fun above sports. I had to meet a lot of people that I've never met or haven't met in the longest period of time. I was in the Copper Belt and probably watching football in the proximity. I think it was just something else when I watched the Copper Queens. Unfortunately, the performance was disturbing and very sad. And of course, it was very bad performance for the Copper Queens. But anyways, we've got so much that happened over the weekend, a lot that transpired, and so much that was going on. And so many of them, the hopes, the dreams, and a lot of people keep dreaming and hoping. Let's get to basketball as we talk about the national championship that started some time back. And of course, so many teams that started this. At least 4 from the Copper Belt, 4 from Lusaka, 4 from Eastern Province came together, played games, and we are remaining with just teams that are playing in the finals. As we already have the champions in Unza Pacers in the B League, they managed to clinch their title and getting back to Premier League from the B League. They went into hiatus, and getting into the B League was something else for Unza Pacers. This time around, they've really performed up to expectations, and they are back in the Premier League after winning, and of course going to conquer even in the national championship. They beat Sonics from Chipata. They beat them hands down. It was a blow-off or blowout, as basketball people call it. It was amazing to see that our Pacers were doing great, and so many great baskets, so many great games. And it was a nail-biting kind of game, but they managed to win 2 games and not getting into game 3. It's a fortunate thing that happened for them. But it's not the same thing for Matero Magic, the defending champions. And of course, Buffaloes, it wasn't the same story. Dolphins are gaining momentum to win 2 games in a row and manage to get into the finals. Will they do the same things that they did to Napsa Breeze against Buffaloes? Nobody knows. We have to wait and see what is going to happen when they 2 teams play against next week on Saturday at 16 hours. They will be meeting again, and whoever wins, this is the fun. This is the fun. The person that is going, or the team that is going to win this particular one, win the championship, and we will be hoping whichever team that is going to do it, let them do it. At this stands, it's 1-1 on the series, and let's hope for the best for Dolphins and Buffaloes, depending on which team you support. And then coming through to the champions of Midlands Basketball Association 2026 and the champions for the national champions, Matero Magic 2025. Obviously, it will be absolutely amazing as the 2 teams played. First of all, the very first game ended in 83-80, 3 baskets above them. But of course, they managed to get back yesterday and managed to win 82-78. They were in form and did exactly what they were supposed to do. It was amazing for Mnadi Suns, and they were outstanding. a lot of people were really standing on the edge of the seats, sitting on the stand. In fact, nobody was standing in the arena. They were all standing because the game was amazing. It was fire. It was everything that you can call it. It was very competitive, and this is exactly what we expect from teams that are playing in the national championship. They have to really compete at the highest level, and they have to do everything possible to make it happen for the people that are watching from afar and enjoying it to the max. And I'm glad, and I think I predicted this, and I'm glad that we're going back into game 3. And I was only hoping that Sonic can also get back into game 3. Unfortunately, Sonic were beaten, but I was hoping all the 3 games can actually be there. But obviously, we only have 2 games on Saturday next week. It will be at 16 hours. We will be hoping to see how beautiful these games are going to be. Amazing stuff that is going to come through from here. And let's hope for the best for these teams that are participating in the final. So it will be, Unza Pesas will be just waiting to get the medals, but it will be NAPSA, it will be Munani Suns versus Saturday, 16 hours and 18 hours. Anyways, getting through to more of what we'll be expecting and so much more that is happening. Of course, we saw exactly what was happening in as far as some of the other games is concerned, because we did have the beautiful thing that was happening in terms of our very own mixed martial arts. Mende managed to win his game. He managed to beat to win this beautiful game this beautiful fight that was happening in the TKO. Imagine that you go to Batista. Batista Mende went into South Africa, beat this guy, and managed to get in the TKO. It was amazing to see him win. Congratulations to him. It's a beautiful thing that really happened in mixed martial arts, and we are happy and just hoping that he will continue the same trajectory. He managed to win in the first round victory in the TKO. Thank you very much. And his opponent couldn't answer for everything that really happened and transpired there. And away from there, we get now to what really transpired in as far as cycling is concerned. We did get at least in Ivory Coast. And this is one thing that we always talk about, just to see a lot of people winning. And this is just a beautiful winning. As we saw, Zambia's young cyclist Stars had an incredible run at the Africa Continental Cycling Championships in Ivory Coast. So this continental thing is, in football, we call it Africa Cup. But I think it was amazing to see our under-19 winning and making history, winning gold. Unfortunately, didn't win anything. This is where we talked about some of these, and we talk about all sports disciplines and some of those that are bringing a lot of smiles on our faces, other than football, and it's just not about football when we talk about sports. We talk about so many sport disciplines, and we are saying those that are going and carrying our flag high, they should continue doing so, because it is just a beautiful thing. And kudos to the sponsors that sponsored them. For the first time, they didn't have to think about how they were going to travel to Ivory Coast. They were sponsored, very well sponsored by the mines in the Copper Belt, and they did well. Anyway, to do that, we need to have such kind of things happening. Anyways, in the futsal playoffs, again, it was quarterfinals. If you do remember, we talked about all the games that were happening, and this time around, it's the finals, the semi-finals that are happening. Of course, they will start on Wednesday. We have some games that will be played on Wednesday, as we did have some of the teams that qualified into the next round of fixtures. It was very difficult games. At one point, it was people, shouting at each other and whatnot, but I think it is just one of those things. So a few Celtics were beaten 6-0 by the perpetual winners. Of course, we're talking about Lusaka Automotive. Managed to beat them 6-0. Another team that managed to get to win, Moody Stars. Moody Stars, the other year was the runners-up, and this time around, they look like a team to beat. They came through and won this game 6-2, and they will be playing against Kafua Saints. Kafua Saints managed to win as well their game against Buffaloes. It was 2-1. This was a very nail-biting kind of contest between Kafua Saints, King Bullets, and Green Buffaloes. It was a nail-biting kind of fixture. And then Saints managed to beat CSS Petauke. The runners-up last year, they were beaten. They're out from the competition. Just quarterfinals they're out, and we expected them to get into the finals, but they couldn't. They were beaten. So the semi-finals will be on Wednesday. One game will be played, another game will be played on Saturday. And if there will be game 2, they will be played on Sunday. But anyways, we have to see how these games are going to be. So it's a best of 2 games. So let's see how these games are going to be and what is going to happen, obviously, in this particular playoffs in the semi-finals. It's a game of 3 in the semi-finals. So all these teams will play 3 games, will play 2 games. But if one team wins and the other team wins another one, and they end up getting one or in the series, then they'll get into the 3rd game as a decider. So let's see which teams are going to get into the decider. And getting into athletics, unfortunately for Muzala Samkonga, came last in the Diamond League Challenge. That was really happening, and it's a very sad situation. We were expecting to do better, because remember that he came 3rd, he came 2nd, and he went on to come 3rd again in one of those categories. In fact, he came 2nd. He came first of all, in the 300 indoor, and then in the 400 he came 2nd. He came 2nd again. He came 3rd, and 3rd again. Was it last month? He came 3rd, and this time around he finished last. And there was a lot of things that happened. And a lot of people are saying he's injured, but we'll look forward and see if he's truly injured. If he is, let him get well soon, because I think we don't need to see him have injuries, because we've got games, we've got so many games that we're looking forward to, and I think he needs to be in full force and do great for him to get back. And finally, we get to what was really happening with the Copper Queens, and like I said, the performance was really bad for the Copper Queens, but the first game was the game that was between Zimbabwe and Lesotho. It at one point looked like it was going to be a very tightly contested game. It was 1-0, and then Zimbabwe started firing in all cylinders, and they managed to win 3-1, getting a place in the finals, and we'll be playing against Zambia. Zambia had to dig deep, and they have to find from somewhere deeper for them to get a win on the penalties. Nobody expected that, because the first whistle, Zambia was pushing. They scored a game through Priska, and we expected to see this particular game change. Many chances we could have scored even 5, but we failed. So it seems this problem of scoring goals is a problem always. And another problem of allowing goals at the last minute is another problem that we have. And we only hope that Coach Nora will find the lasting solution for this. And then we had another coach that was there, Barbara Banda, was on the technical bench because of a knock that she had in the games that she played in America from our team, and this time around she couldn't play. But I'm sure that tomorrow she will play this particular game at 18 hours. So Zambia versus Zimbabwe. It's a battle of Zambezi, the battle of Victoria Falls, as we call it. So it's going to be very tough, very tight, as Zambia is really not playing very well. But Zimbabwe played very well. They looked so solid. They had the formula, they had the way, they had a plan, and executed this plan and worked out well, winning 3-1. Zambia had to go to the penalties for them to win. Good thanks to Nali. I know that one was just missed, like really missed, but one saved, and obviously being there as a goalkeeper intimidated so many, because they know exactly what she's capable of doing. So Zambia managed to win 4-1 on penalties. They had to score all the penalties, and unfortunately for Kenya, they had to miss 2 penalties. So Kenya will play against Lesotho at 15 hours tomorrow, and Zambia will play at 18 hours against Zimbabwe tomorrow. And now, one thing that I have to mention is that first of all, power went at just as soon as the penalties were called in. Before they kicked the first penalty, there was no power. Power went, and Zesco was saying there was some fault that happened, and it continued to the next day. But I'm only hoping that they worked on that, so that we don't have these problems, and making sure that we already have power, because the game will be played at 18 hours. The good part is that it wasn't 18 hours yet, and it wasn't dark, so they had to go on and play the penalties. But imagine if they're starting at 18 and they play at least 90 minutes and then get back into penalties. If the game ends in a draw and then power goes, what happens? And we can't play, really. So I think that should be looked into. And the fans, let's go in numbers and support the team, despite the fact that they are not playing very well, but we have to go and support them, give them a round. This is a game, a send-off game, because at this particular game, the only game that they have is not going to be in Zambia. It's going to be away against Algeria, just to have a feel, because they are preparing for the WAFCON. And remember that the teams that we have, they've already played teams like Zimbabwe. They play kind of the same against Malawi, you know, because Malawi is one team that we are in the same group with. And we've got Nigeria. And we've got, for Nigeria, we played Kenya. Yeah, they play almost the same, similar kind of football. But we don't have any team that we have. We needed to play a team from West Africa. And North Africa, we've got Algeria that we'll be playing against, because we have Egypt in our group. So Zambia is from the WAFCON, which will start next month. We've got Nigeria, who beat us last time around in the Africa Cup of Nations. And of course, they've continued to manage to win their game in the friendly games that they were playing. They looked so good, and they're the defending champions. And we also have Egypt, and we've got Malawi, our neighbors. So it's going to be really outstanding that Zambia should prepare adequately. But if we're going to get the game that we're playing to the Africa Cup of Nations, it will be massacre and first round exits. Thank you very much. This is all we had for you. And as far as the breakfast show is concerned, well, we're glad that you tuned in. You watched all the greatest things that are happening, current affairs, politics, and all the things that we have to do on this great breakfast show. Until Wednesday, when we get back, God bless.
Welcome to New World of Entertainment in Zambia. Cartoons, music, news, movies, drama, series, documentaries, food, travel, the best from Hollywood and Bollywood, international football, including CAF competitions, La Liga, Serie A, German Bundesliga, Saudi League, Carabao Cup, Asian Championship, Barclays Women's League, local leagues, and much more. Grab your Azam TV decoder at 350 Zambian kwacha and full kit at 589 Zambian kwacha. Affordable monthly packages: 100 Zambian kwacha, 200 Zambian kwacha, and 300 Zambian kwacha. For more details, contact us on 971-246-222. 763-664-455. WhatsApp 77-500-0013. Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Not long ago, many children in Zambia did not go to school because their parents could not afford it. Today, 2.5 million children are back in the classroom, sitting on desks and being fed nutritious meals under the school feeding program. Markets are now peaceful with no cadre violence. Clinics stand where there were none. There's still much work ahead, jobs to create, futures to secure. And that's why Bali keeps working day after day. Because just as we delivered free education, we will keep delivering. For every child still waiting and every family still rising. Until progress is something every Zambian feels. We've started the change. Now let's finish the job. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let us continue to move Zambia forward.